Behind every toy, there's a story. And here you're gonna learn the story of all the monsters that appear in Chapter 4 of Poppy Playtime and their journey deep into the factory. Extend your hand to the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing about Poppy Playtime. Here you have all the toys explained in Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. After several chapters of not knowing what happened to Huggy Wuggy, the last few seconds of Chapter 4 reveal that Experiment 1170 survived the Great Fall from Chapter 1. Huggy Wuggy looks quite injured, even having lost part of his left arm, but far from being tired, he's more than eager to end the player's life. According to his creators on X, it was always expected that Huggy Wuggy would make a return at some point in the story, and the chosen moment was at the end of Chapter 4. Kissy Missy, on the other hand, hasn't been as lucky as Huggy Wuggy. After being attacked by an unknown creature at the end of Chapter 3, Poppy tries to help her heal her wounds. But instead of healing, Kissy ends up losing one of her arms in an attempt to save the player from certain death. It's possible that she is Experiment 1172, as the report calls for her to be transferred to Storage B, the location where Kissy Missy is found in the relocation tape before the Hour of Joy happened. Yarnaby is a lion made of yarn, created by Playtime Company, originally launched as part of a wildlife conservation campaign in the 1970s. His design might have been inspired by the toy puppet Isaac the Lion. In Chapter 4, Yarnaby is known as Experiment 1166, and his real name is Quinn Navidson, a young orphan who arrived at Playcare with rather mediocre skills. Dr. Harley Sawyer realized that Quinn wasn't clumsy, but was instead trying to hide his true abilities. So he approached him and encouraged him to bring out his best. As a result, Quinn achieved excellent results in the Whack-A-Wuggy and Statues tests, which led him to become the bigger body version of Yarnaby in August 1990. The doctor had a very twisted plan for Yarnaby, to isolate him from any human contact except his own, so that he would develop an emotional attachment solely to him. The idea was to turn Yarnaby into the doctor's bodyguard, but his unethical methods led to his expulsion, leaving the toy all alone. This caused Yarnaby to become sad and apathetic, being labeled a failure by the factory scientists, and he ended up locked in his cell forever. In Chapter 4, the doctor releases Yarnaby so he can follow his orders to hunt down and kill the player. Unfortunately, Yarnaby fails and ends up dying by incineration, finally putting an end to his suffering. BoogieBot is a small Playtime Company toy whose main function is to dance. Or at least that was its role before it was used to store human souls. BoogieBot has been appearing in Poppy Playtime since Chapter 1. Some posters revealed what this project was like, but it wasn't until Chapter 4 that one of these toys was seen alive for the first time. Several units of BoogieBot have taken refuge in Safe Haven, serving different functions and changing their appearances accordingly. For example, Scout, the one in charge of securing the doors, is green, while the toy doctor responsible for healing the other toys is red. Like Brawn or Cappy, there is no known bigger body version of the BoogieBot. During Chapter 4, some very interesting information is revealed about the Poppy doll. First, her real plan was to blow up Playtime Company in order to take down the prototype and all of its toys. A questionable decision, since it meant getting rid of innocent toys like those in Safe Haven alongside Doey. Secondly, Poppy feels guilty about what happened during the Hour of Joy. It seems that she played an important role in the factory's Great Massacre, although it wasn't intentional. This leads her to confess on a VHS tape that she misses her father.
I wish you were here, Dad. I could really use one of your talks right about now. You'd know what to say. When you were running this place, you always knew what to say.
Revealing that it's Elliot Ludwig. This means that Poppy is the daughter of the founder of Playtime Company. It's believed that the tragic death of a relative that Elliot suffered in 1960, the loss of his daughter, was the event that triggered the experimentation with toys and children at the factory. Pianosaurus. The large versions of Playtime Company's best-known toys also have miniature versions. The Mini Huggies and Mini Kissies are small experiments that the company used as tests before creating the bigger bodies. They're as aggressive as the other toys, although in Safe Haven you might find a Mini Kissy as friendly as her older sister. When the refuge's security system is restarted, you can see this little creature smiling with a terrifying grin that made Huggy Wuggy famous. Only this time, she's happy and doing a little dance while clapping. The Pianosaurus is a toy that holds the record for the fastest death in the entire game, appearing on screen for only 17 seconds. Its design is inspired by dinosaur-shaped toy keyboards called Pianosaurus, although its head resembles the Meowstic keyboards more. Originally launched as a part of a complete set of musicians, Pianosaurus served as the harmony of the group, playing its beautiful piano melodies through its keys or teeth. The Pianosaurus in the game is Experiment 1163, which ended up being a failure and was kept in reserve for further experiments. The best part about the Pianosaurus is, without a doubt, its catchy melody. Pianosaurus, he plays just for us. Although not a toy per se, he is part of Playtime Company's experiments. Harley Sawyer is Elliot Ludwig's former student and the mastermind behind the Bigger Bodies initiative and the creation of monsters like Catnap, Mommy Longlegs, and Huggy Wuggy. His ambition to elevate humanity, even at the cost of some serious moral issues, led him to confront his fellow Playtime Company members, since they didn't agree with his unethical experiments and were unable to fire or get rid of him. Stella Graber, Leith Pierre, and Eddie Ritterman decided to turn him into one of their own experiments.
So fight, or give in, or whatever, because either way, we own the infrastructure you're wired into.
You'll die for this, Leith. When I get my hands on you, you're a dead man!
Its temper is a bad look for you, Harley.
A machine that could help them with their research, but without the freedom to do as he pleased. In Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, Harley Sawyer controls the factory through the security system, existing only as a brain in a tank deep within the facility. He can monitor the premises via cameras or appear randomly on monitors, and he also controls humanoid robots that serve as his hands and legs. Sawyer allies himself with a prototype to get revenge on Poppy Playtime's directive, and somehow continue his research.
Then of what use are you? You know I'm still your best shot at cracking that secret. If I weren't, you would have already killed me.
A forced relationship in which Sawyer went from being in control to merely another puppet of the prototype. After having the Omni chip removed from his vital support, Sawyer vanishes, leaving his research incomplete and disappearing from Playtime Company's security system forever. Doey is the clay toy who takes center stage in Chapter 4. His origins date back to 1993, when a boy named Jack Ayers, visiting the factory with his mother, accidentally fell into a clay shredder. Playtime Company seized the opportunity to reanimate the corpse and bring Jack back to life inside Doey. But the boy's mind was too unstable, and he ended up killing his mother during a factory visit.
Mommy won't lie to you, Jackie. Mommy won't hurt you. I'd never hurt you.
Hey! Hey! Open this door! Oh, God. Susan! Please! Open the door!
Doey was designated as Experiment 1322, and since Playtime Company wanted him to serve several different purposes thanks to his plastic, shape-shifting properties, 2 more children were used to complete him, Kevin Barnes and Matthew Hollard. The 3 children, each with their own personalities, contributed a part of themselves to Doey, which is reflected in his actions and reactions to his surroundings.
No, that's not true. They jump-started the generator. They destroyed everything!
This experiment has a major flaw. If he experiences too much stress, it's likely that the emotions of all 3 children become unstable, throwing Doey completely out of control. The prototype takes advantage of this at the end of Chapter 4. From the very beginning, Doey wanted to help all the innocent toys in the factory by caring for them.
I'm having
seen what I have, knowing how they see me, how much they need me. I'm going back.
And providing a safe haven away from harm, hoping that one day Poppy or someone else would come to rescue them. The problem was that the prototype exploited his weakness and destabilized him, causing chaos throughout the factory. Ultimately, Doey lost his life in a confrontation with the player. Doey is one of the most tragic characters in Poppy Playtime's history, having lost all his loved ones in an explosion and later being killed by a trap set by the prototype. After the events at Playcare, the Smiling Critters take on a more prominent role in Chapter 4, representing the toys determined to take down the prototype. Unfortunately, most of them end up dead due to the explosion at the refuge. On the other hand, the Nightmare Critters replace the Smiling Critters as antagonists, chasing the player through different sections of the game in an attempt to kill him. There are 8 different ones: Baba Chops, which smells like anise; Alistair Gator, with a sandalwood aroma; the Frog Icky Licky, which smells like coffee; the Shark Maggie Mako, that smells of chocolate; Poe, with a cinnamon scent; Raby Baby, which smells like bubblegum; Simon Smoke, that smells of wood smoke; and finally, the Rat Tui, that smells of petrichor. Despite being a sales failure, the Nightmare Critters even appeared on television with a very catchy ad.
We can't wait to wreck your day, so be very afraid.
Unlike Catnap and Dog Day, the Nightmare Critters don't come in a bigger body version. However, there are slightly larger variants, like Baba Chops, which poisons with every bite, and calmer ones like the Crow Poe. According to their creators, the Nightmare Critters are inspired by the Garbage Pail Kids, a rebellious parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids toys. Ollie is a friend of Poppy from long ago at the factory. He was helping both the player and Poppy, but it's later revealed that Ollie has been dead for quite some time and that it was merely the prototype manipulating Poppy. In one of the VHS tapes, you can hear the real Ollie trying to reassure Poppy, telling her that he will always be with her.
I'm here, Poppy. For you, I'll always be here.
The prototype continues causing trouble in Chapter 4. When Kissy Missy drags the player to her hideout, you can see that this monster takes the form of a giant spider. In addition to its arms, seen in previous chapters, its legs allow the prototype to move effortlessly through the factory. One of the VHS even reveals that the prototype kept Dr. Harley Sawyer alive because his knowledge was extremely useful for carrying out its secret plan.
Have I made an error in allowing your survival? Of course not. We just need more time to perfect the time. Time is precisely what we do not have.
It's very likely that this plan is connected to all the children it kidnapped during the Hour of Joy, children it still keeps alive. The prototype is also responsible for blowing up Doey's safe haven to destabilize him, breaking the floor where the player and Kissy Missy were hiding, and even threatening Poppy with locking her back in her box. In Chapter 4 of Poppy Playtime, other, more modest toys make an appearance, even though most of them are dead or torn to pieces. Brawn, PJ Pugapillar, and Bunzo Bunny are scattered throughout the depths of the factory or found in a dump alongside a pile of broken toys. Their role in this chapter is merely anecdotal, but if you're paying close attention, you might spot them in the laboratory or near the safe haven. Keep exploring Playtime Company in these videos I leave you here, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next ones. Thanks for watching. See you next time.